In this video, we will be analyzing some differences in 157 roller coasters in the US that are within 3 different categories: older, recent, and newest. The target range for this activity is the NC Common Core Math 1, which is grades 8 through 9th. And the purpose of this activity is to use the CodeApp application, which I have available on my screen, to help in our investigation of the questions you see over here to the right. 2 Common Core math standards that relate well to this activity would be 1. Represent data with plots on the real number line, such as dots plots, histograms, and box plots. And 2. Use statistics appropriate to the shape of the data distribution to compare center, which is median and mean, and spread, which is the interquartile range in standard deviation of 2 or more different data sets. So since I have the CodeApp application already available, and you can see that the data for the 157 roller coasters has been entered over here to the left in the table, we can now begin our investigation and look at question number 1. Are there any differences between the top speed of older, newer, or more recent roller coasters, and explain? So let's figure out what our x-axis and our y-axis should be. Since we're talking about the top speeds, then we're going to put that into our x-axis. So let's scroll over and find the top speed attribute, and we're going to drag it to the x-axis. Now we separated them into now we're going to be separating them into older, newer, and more recent roller coasters. That's going to go in our y-axis, and we find that by using the attribute of age group. And we pull that over to the y-axis. So now we have our separated categories. If we use the measurement tool of box plots, we can now look at the medians of each one and see how they differ. The older roller coasters has a median of 50. The recent roller coasters have a median of 56, and the newest roller coasters have a median of 65.5 or closer to 66. So we can see as the roller coasters age in their opening, they seem to be getting faster. Their medians are greater than the category before. If we also look at what the top speed in each section is, we can also see a big difference. So the top speed of the older roller coasters is 65, the recent roller coaster top speed is 100, and then the newest top speed roller coaster is 120. Yeah, so there's a big difference from older to newest. So all in all, what I would say for this question is that the newer a roller coaster is, the higher capability it has to reach faster speeds. So recent has a higher capability than older, and newest has a higher capability of both recent and older. So let's minimize this question and go on, or this graph for this question, and go on to question number 2. Okay. So let's open up another graph. I'm going to spread it out just a little bit. Now question number 2. Does the type of material make a difference in speed? So again, we're looking at speed in our x-axis, so let's find that attribute again. And now we're separating it into the categories of type of material. So let's look for that attribute. There's type. We're going to move that to our y-axis. And there we go. So now it's separated again. Already we can tell that there's a difference between wooden and steel, because it seems that there are more more steel roller coasters, than wooden roller coasters. So that could have an effect. Let's look at our measurement tool again and the box plots. So the median for the wooden roller coasters is 55, whereas steel is 60. And the difference between the medians isn't very large. It's only a 5 mile/hour difference. But when we look at the values above the upper quartile range, so the wooden one is 73 and the steel one is 100, it seems that the steel roller coasters have the ability to reach higher speeds. Another thing that we can look at, and I'm going to spread it out a little bit so it's easier to see, the fastest wooden roller coaster has a speed of 78. If we were to take a movable value, add it, and put it on 78, or right there near it, so there's 78, we can see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 10 more roller coasters, more steel roller coasters, whose top speed is faster than the fastest wooden roller coaster. So that tells me that it does make a difference, or it could make a difference in the type of material that you use to have higher speeds, because it seems to be that the steel roller coasters have the capability of creating those faster speeds. So let's minimize this one, and we're going to go to our next question, question number 3. So we're going to open up another graph. Question number 3 says, if you were going to ride a roller coaster that was built before 1980, what would you expect for a typical top speed? What about if you were riding a newer roller coaster? So we first need to go over here on the table, look at the age group, scroll over it, and see how older, recent, and newest is separated. So older is 1900 to 1979, recent is 1980 to 1999, and newest is 2000 to current. That means that for the built before 1980, we're going to be using older, and the newer roller coasters, we're going to be using the recent and newest. So again, we're going to use top speed in our x-axis. And like in our first question, we're going to be using the age group for our y-axis so we can separate them. And for this one, we don't really need to use the box plot. We can just use the median. And I'm using the median instead of the mean, because if we use the mean, it's going to count in these outliers out here, which we really don't want. We just want the median, what the middle number of all the attributes seem to be. Okay, or all of the data points, excuse me. So the median for the older is 50, so we can expect a top speed of before 1980 to be about 50 miles per hour. For the newer roller coasters, we could expect it to be the typical top speed to be between 56 miles per hour and 65.5 miles per hour, so somewhere in that range. Let's minimize this, and we're going to go on to our bonus question really quick. So it says, use the below website and enter in the information about the roller coaster presented and enter in the data within the table. So I'm going to copy this website, and let's put it into a new URL. And here is our website that we are looking at to figure out all the information we need for the extreme roller coaster. Let's go back and see what it says. It says, if an attribute that is in the table is not provided on the website, we will then leave the attribute blank in the table. And then we want to know, how does this information fit into the analysis we previously did? So I'm going to show you how we can enter in this data into a table, or into our table that we have currently. So if we look back, we can see that it was made in 2007. So that is newer is 2000 to recent. So that's where we need to put this new roller coaster. So we're going to just click right here on the 1 in the index space, hit insert case, and then it's going to insert a new case for us to enter in our data about the extreme roller coaster. And I'm going to flip to this next slide here where I've already entered in all the data that we needed from that website, and I have actually also already entered in the extreme roller coaster into our table. So as you can see, I've entered all of that in, and there wasn't any information for the drop, so we left that blank. So now to see if it affected any of my analysis from the previous questions that we did, I'm going to select a graph. I'm going to again choose the top speed to be my x-axis, and I'm now going to choose again the age group. Oh no, this is very simple to do, just delete the attribute, and I'm going to grab the age group and put it here. So now I see that, let's get a box plot back up here. And the thing that I can see that's different is the median is 65, whereas before it was 65.5. And although that has changed it a little bit, this information for the roller coaster does not change any of my claims I've previously made. It does defy the norm that the newer and steel roller coasters are generally faster, but my claims that I've made before was that these categories of newer and steel roller coasters have the capabilities of higher speeds, but not necessarily that that this capability is always utilized. So they may not always go at faster speeds, but that is a capability they have. Thank you very much.